Good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Grace Stevens, and welcome to Mornings with Grace. Today is a really exciting day for me because I'm going to share my travels in Italy, in Tuscany, and I have a bunch of videos. There's going to be travelogues and experiences, and my guest is actually a pre-recorded interview with a master violin maker, Jamie Lazzara, who took us into our workshop. And it's the first time I've done something like this, and it is wonderful and an experience that I've never had before, and I suspect not many of you have had before. So before we start, this is the fourth episode of Morning with the Grace, and I did 3 previews. And I want to share with you all that in the very first preview, I posted this poem by Pablo Neruda. And it was the idea of you start dying slowly. You start dying slowly if you do not travel, if you do not read, if you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself. I traveled 2 weeks ago for 10 days in Italy. We went to Florence, we went to Tuscany. It was a bike tour that was most amazing, going on the hills, up and down. Again, I need an e-bike, and the e-bike was fabulous, allowing me to do it. I worked so hard on the e-bike and used so much power. I ran out of power one day at about 40 miles. Another day I did get a recharge and got to 50 miles. It was marvelous. Right now I'm going to just show you a little travelogue of some of the experience for a few minutes. Here we go.
Peace is in my heart. Peace is in my heart. Peace is in my heart. Peace is in my heart.
Thanks again to Lori Diamond, my friend, for letting me use her music. That song is called Om, and Joy is Within My Heart from this trip to Florence and Tuscany. I want to tell you a little bit about Florence, which is right behind me over my shoulder. You can see the bridges across the river. It was most amazing. We spent the first 2.5 days there and the last day and a half there in Florence. It is well known for the incredible cathedral, the Duomo and the dome on it, and the bell tower. The bell tower is close to 300 feet high, and it took me a while to climb all the steps to get there. I shot a little video at the top of the bell tower and showed you all around Florence, so here it is. It's Friday, September 20th, and I made it to the top of the bell tower in Florence. There is the dome of the Duomo. And I'm just walking around sharing Florence with you. This city is over 500 years old, maybe 600, 700, 800 years old. The Duomo itself started built in 1297. The dome was built and finished in 1436. It's quite a beautiful city. Each block looks like a compound or our own little castle in their own as you walk around. From up here you can see so much. And like any city, you can hear sirens. And here we come back full circle around to the dome again of the Duomo. The height of the Duomo to the very top is 330 feet. We're a little bit lower at the bell tower across from it. Trying to look down and see people down below. Florence is a beautiful city. I'm glad I came. What an amazing view from the top of the bell tower, looking at the Duomo and also looking down at the people below. It was a little unnerving for me, but we were fenced in. To think that this was built in the 1300s, started in 1297, finished in 1436, a project lasting over almost 140 years. The world was so different then. The city-state of Florence was the center of the Renaissance, and it was just amazing. We did go around. I did not take tons of pictures of the statues. You've seen a few. But we also headed out and went to the Central Market, and we're doing vendors. One of the fun things we did on the way back was to actually go in the market and do some purchasing, haggling prices a little bit. But I want you to meet one of the vendors who actually helped us with scarf purchasing. This is a fun little video and educational.
Buongiorno, we're actually in Italy. We're in the San Lorenzo market and my name is Ramon. The scarves, of course, there's so many manners of wearing them. For example, most of the scarves are actually on a rectangular shape. Why? Could you come here, sir? Having done so, just take an edge and then grab it so you have a triangle. The triangle that you have in your hand, you lay it on your neck. Looking at the mirror, fix that edge of the triangle you're looking for. Having done so, just proceed twisting it to and wherever your scarf ends, you tuck it in. In short, remember the 3 T's: triangle, twist, and tuck.
triangle, twist, and tuck.
Another way, of course, of wearing them. One short and one long. The longer one you turn in the whole of your neck. Without any space on one side, insert it with the three outfits. Hold them in opposite direction, and you emphasize above. So we call them the diva or the Grace Kelly way. Or in all our styles, we mostly fold it in half, and normally we're used to putting them together. In this case, just fold it in half even. Do not put them together. Having two ends in these types of knots, just insert one, whichever. Before you insert the second one, twist the loop first. Twist the loop and put it on top. So you have a practical right. In this case, of course, it's nicer because there's no need for you to always adjust it. Other tips on how to wear them, just go on web, YouTube, scarves.com.
Thank you so much, Ramon.
You're welcome.
Ramon was great, and we did buy a bunch of scarves from him, so it was well worth his effort to help us do that little video. The bike trip was amazing. We got there on Sunday and stayed for 6 days of biking, and we went to a spa one day. We had so much great food, so much. Visited many wineries, lessons. For me, who doesn't drink wine, it was still a great adventure, and the biking was enormous. One night at the Agriturismo farm Il Molinello that we stayed at, there was some entertainment. There was a musical group, and that's where we got to meet Jamie Lazzara. Jamie Lazzara is a master violin maker. She also plays violin. And after she was playing a bit for us at dinner, before dinner, during dinner, after dinner, my friends and I got to talk to her. And she invited us to visit her in a workshop right in Florence, right at the base of the Pont Neuf. So we went there, and I am just so excited that she allowed us to do an interview. So this is about almost a half-hour interview. I hope that you will watch it. It is really educational, entertaining, and a unique experience of someone who is totally magical, has incredible special qualities to make violins, 4 violins a year. She's made violins for Yitzhak Perlman, for Barack Obama. She makes her own tools, she mixes her own glues, she mixes her own coloring for the violins. You will learn so much about someone who is passionate and dedicated to her craft. It's pretty amazing. So welcome to Meet the Master, Jamie Marie Lazzara. Hi everyone, this is Grace Stevens. I am right now on Saturday afternoon, September 29th, 2019, in beautiful Florence, Italy. After 10 days of a trip to Italy and a bike trip in Florence, I have been most amazed by the most unintended solution that happened last Thursday night. I met a master, Jamie Marie Lazzara, who is a master violin player, violin maker. It is amazing what she has done with her life. And she has been so kind to invite us into her workshop and learn more about her story becoming a master violin maker and how she creates 4 violins per year for some of the greatest violinists in the world. Hang in and we'll show you more shortly. Thanks. Hi everyone, this is Grace Stevens from Mornings with Grace, and I am so excited this afternoon to have met this week Jamie Lazzara, who is one of the first women master violin makers in the world. what she has done is set a new standard for violins. Not only does she make all her violins completely by hand, in order to do this job, she even makes her own tools to make this. Her knowledge and her fame is done word of mouth. She has made violins for Yitzhak Perlman. She has made violins for President Obama and many other people, and is well known throughout Florence and the world for the work that she has done. But she is really a magical person. She has not only the special quality of being a master violin maker, but she expresses kindness and joy in what she does in meeting people. I am so honored to meet her, and today she is going to share some of her story, some of her experience on how she ended up here in Florence, Italy, and the work she's done. And this was an unintended solution for me in meeting her Thursday night and just getting an invitation to come with my friends to come here and see what she works. So thank you so much, Jamie.
I know, I'm really pleased to be here with you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So one of the things that so impressed me when we were talking, you grew up in Southern California.
That's right. I actually, I was born in Urbana near Chicago.
Yeah.
But my parents moved to Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area when I was 1. So let's say from 1960 on, I was in the Los Angeles area.
And you mentioned the other day that you started playing violin by the time you were 8 years old.
Yeah, I was 8 when I started. So
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I went through junior high school just like anybody, you know, playing in youth orchestras and
Right.
Summer
I've
orchestras.
done that also,
things.
so
Okay.
I understand what that's
So-
like. Yeah.
So I mean, that's really good experience, you
Yeah.
know, to be able to learn about the violin. What happened actually is that, well, since I was like a workaholic, you know, in school.
Even as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, our house was like 10 minutes from the beach, and you have to understand a high school like that, everyone was always not going to school to go to the beach. Okay,
You were in Surfing USA?
I was like, no, I was like doing 10 credits in high school instead of
Yeah.
7, and then doing night school and then summer school. But I was able to dab in, for example, ceramics and leatherworking, all different types of art, like even animation. I
When-
did film animation.
When did the passion to say I wanted to make a violin take root?
That's the thing. When I was 15, I was thinking I'd already seen what it was like to do like what do you call it? You know, at the end of you have your music class and you do like play a piece. You know,
Yeah.
I forget what you call it. I've been here too long. But recital.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that you know what, I feel like when I did the recital, either I was the best of everyone because I really loved it, otherwise I would get to a note and then like freeze up, you know, because it wasn't perfect or something,
Right.
and then it's all over. Well,
Did you have a feeling of what's next for you?
no, the thing is that when I thought about it, you know, playing violin is an art that, you know, is like in the air and it just leaves. It's really ephemeral. How do you say it? It's like it's not tangible.
Right.
And so I thought that I got more satisfaction out of actually making things that physically remain
Mm-hmm.
than playing violin. You know, and also I found that when you play violin, you become a little bit like a human jukebox, because then they say, well, oh, play Paganini for us, you know, play it. And then, oh, okay, come on, play Paganini, you know, for us again, you know, in some other place.
So-
and then after a while, they get tired of that and say, well, play something else. They don't understand that it takes like 6 months to get it all together. And so it's like a little bit like being an athlete, you know what I mean? You have to always be prepared to do your best. You know, like
Yeah.
someone who does Olympic things
Yeah.
or something. And so I thought, well, you know what? I really got more satisfaction out of, you know, really making the tangible, you know, painting a picture or
Yes.
sculpting something or making something. So then, when I was 15, I thought, well, I hate to leave the music, and nobody was talking with me about this. I was figuring
It's
out,
all
you
up
know.
in here, yeah.
I said, well, you know what? But the music part, I said, you know what I mean? To get over that reality, you know, I've always been ready, and you know, it's magical, of course, but it's also very, very demanding because there's a lot of competition, and you know what I mean? It's not just, you don't just learn the piece and just do it. To do it over the top, it takes a special,
Right.
you know, like many of the people who I've met. But so then I thought, well, I really thought, oh, but I could make violins.
Right.
And so I said, that way, you know what I mean, there'd still be the violin in there, and that I could make them, but it was totally in my head. Like, nobody
Right.
talked to me about this or anything, or put it in. So actually, okay, at 15 is too young to go somewhere to study.
Right. So
But-
how did
but
this
it
girl
gave
from
me-
California
but it gave
end
me
up
like
here
three,
in Florence?
like 4 years to
Yeah.
prepare myself to go ahead with my, you know, to be able to learn more about it. So I did 2 years of university, and I asked them if I could do a special major at Long Beach State. I asked if I could do a special major on violin making, they didn't say yes. So I just didn't declare my major and did all kinds of courses that pertained, you know, to that could help me, like chemistry and, you know, violin playing. And
But you had that goal.
Art
You had
and-
that
yeah.
drive to learn enough so you can move forward on your dream.
yeah, well, you know what? It's a rabbit hole that practically could never end, you know, because you just learn so much. It's learning about acoustics and learning about acoustic systems and learning about tradition and learning about and plus all the time that you use trying to understand the wood you're working with. That's the key.
Was that in college or was that after college?
No, in college I just did straight like
Just the courses.
yeah, the courses, just the courses, and then you know, I studied also art history and things like
Right.
that. Well, when I came here,
How did you get here? How did you?
Oh,
when did
okay,
you
the
get
reason
here?
why I
How did
came
you get
here-
to Italy.
is I looked into a couple of schools at the time, because we're talking about, you know, the end of the 70s.
Mhm.
And so at that time, okay, I went to a music store where they actually repaired instruments and built some things that was in Long Beach. And I remember I went there and I said, well, you know, how can I learn more about, you know, making violins? And they told me girls weren't meant to be violin makers.
And how'd that go
was
down?
well, I don't care. I've never cared about what people say. I've always been really strong-minded.
Yeah.
And so anyway, okay. Well, at the time there was like a school in Salt Lake City and a school in Chicago. But then looking into them, you know, it's not like they really turned me on. And so since my father's family came from Italy, my grandfather practically came from Italy to Chicago. So I thought, well, you know what? Why should I, you know, waste my time, you know, with these little schools? Why should I should just go where they really make violins, you know? And you know where it all started too, because the city of Cremona is the town where Stradivarius and where Guarneri del Gesù worked, you know, among others. But they were the two principal violin makers. And so I said, I'm gonna go to the violin making school in Cremona. So I came over here, and I went there, but my Italian was not fluent enough to be accepted to the school, and so I came down here to Florence, and I enrolled in the University of Restoration of Fine Art.
Mhm.
Because see, they use all natural pigments and know how to identify, glue types.
Mhm.
So it's practically
So
it's part of my
the
job
basics,
also to
getting
be
the
able to
basics of
know
learning.
what this is glued together with, even though it's not. It could be a painting,
Right.
but it could be a piece of furniture, but it could be a violin. Because in the 1700s, they had certain materials
Right.
that they used, and to be able to identify them is an art too.
And again, the other day you mentioned that on this journey you did have a crisis. That
Well, which
happened.
one?
Well, you were mentioning the other day that with your father going bankrupt and being
Oh, yeah.
how you ended up
Oh, that was
here
fantastic.
in Italy and how that may have changed your life, how you got
Well,
through that crisis.
Well, I got
of
through it.
things.
Anyway, what happened is when I came to Italy, like after like 4 months that I was here,
Yeah.
my dad who was an engineer, he he was developing solar energy things.
Yep.
And if you don't have work for a couple of months, it's hard to pay
Right.
the whole deal and keep everything going. So he told me that he wasn't able to send me money, and he wasn't able to, not even to bring me back to California.
What was that like for you?
But why, I just, when you're in like me, I grew up in a learning mode always.
Yeah.
And for me, I was in a different country. I was learning Italian. And see, in the end, that was a good thing, because when it's like sink or swim, you know what I
Right.
mean? Okay,
If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
everyone
right?
here all admires, everyone here in Florence, they know what kind of person I am because they've seen me here. You wouldn't think with all the tourists, but the people all know each other. The town is kind of small. There are not so many Florentines around, but you know what I mean? They see that you'll do any kind of job,
Right.
but in any kind of job that I did, I learned something. And then learning Italian, but I earned, the respect of everyone.
That's fabulous.
Okay,
And-
so
and
because
then
I've never
what
had to
would
do.
what would you tell the people that are watching this, like when they run into a crisis like
Well,
this?
but that's the
What's
thing.
the lesson?
But that's the thing. See, it's possible. It's possible to do. Listen here. Wait, let's wait till this ambulance comes. Oh man! Once there was a soloist in here, and an ambulance went by, and the guy was playing it on the violin. The exactly
Yeah.
whoop whoop. And they go,
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm saying that. Okay, the thing is, you know how to do a lot of things, okay?
Right.
Some people might know how to cook, some people might know how to sew, and
Everyone has their own special quality.
Oh.
Their magic.
well,
Yeah.
okay, well, no, but it's even deeper than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was gonna do it. I was gonna succeed.
You were going to succeed. You
In
knew
any
that.
way, in anything that I did, I learned things
I
that
love
could
that
even
message.
pertain to.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you that I study many old books. There's a famous book by Vasari that's called The Lives of the Artists.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've heard of it, because Vasari was kind of a follower of Michelangelo.
Uh-huh.
He frescoed the old palace here, and I kind of study Florence, what it was like during the olden times, and we're talking about like even Giotto's time or Dante's time, 1200s, 1300s,
Amazing.
1400s,
Right.
15. And you're thinking the great things that were painted and the great statues that were made,
Right.
and the great literary works that were done here, and they were done on the same streets in the same shop, probably in here something.
Walking through the streets, you have to be inspired by the history here for 500, 600 years.
Well,
of
Leonardo da
what's
Vinci's
here.
house is like one block that way,
Right.
and this is the old palace, and that's the Uffizi, which was the mint. You know, well, I just think that when we're lucky because we have electric lights.
Right.
We're lucky because we don't have to mix up our own pigments like they did to make an oil paint. You'd have to get, the pigment and pound it and mix it and stuff.
Jamie, so in the process of you becoming a master violin maker, did you work with mentors? And really the question that I want to ask you is, when did you know your identity was a master violin maker? What was that journey like for you, that you say, I am a master violin maker? There's a learning process. Was it a year, many years? When did you have the sense that this was your identity?
Well, I actually I went to a very important school.
Yeah.
Okay, the school is in Cremona. And okay, even though I went there starting in 1982, 81, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The school had been going for only 70 years.
Only compared to a place that's 600, 1,000 years old.
Okay, but I graduated then after 4 years of school, and I was graduate number 226.
Wow.
In 70 years, that's like 4 a year.
Right.
Were
you the first woman to graduate? Or
no, but I think I'm the first American woman.
First American,
And plus there weren't that many, so that actually did the school. The school, when I tried to enroll in 79, even the year that I got in, there were over 3,000 applications. So to be able to be one of those 100 people that would be able to do the course, it was broken up in like 3 groups. I had to write a paper in Italian, why I wanted to be a violin maker, and then I naturally had to tell them what my qualifications were. But I had like incredible qualifications, you know what I mean? Because the manuality, the drawing, the technical drawing.
When did you sell your first violin?
The second year I was in school.
So you were already making violins while you were in school?
I was you don't understand that in Cremona there were like 3,000 violin makers in the town at the time, and only 2 of us played violin. So practically for all these people who were constructing violins, they didn't know what their violin, if it was good or not.
And people would buy those?
I don't know, but they bought mine. It's different because it's like if you play guitar or something, you feel the neck and it's comfortable, and you hear if the sound is resonant.
Yeah.
And if the fingerboard is perfect or not. Okay, that's the thing. There's certain things that a musician needs, whereas if you don't play it, you don't know that.
This brings me to like the third real big question that I wanted to ask you. And as you are a violinist and a violin maker, when you're creating the instrument, is the instrument an object, or do you and the instrument merge in some spiritual relationship?
Maybe it could seem spiritual a little bit, but basically it's a continuous observation of the wood, the way that what the wood, the reaction in the sounds that the wood is doing according to the wood that you're taking away.
And each instrument is totally unique when you do
because
that.
every tree is different and every piece of wood is different. So I have to say that just takes, you have to, it's not like you're just cutting it away till you get to a fixed dimension. I don't have any fixed dimensions.
Right.
And I just have to know when it's time to stop.
And this just reminds me of how we need to be with each other as people, in that our own songs we have to listen.
This is Plus, there's a street sweeper out there.
Yeah.
So, but like I mean, you see, these are things that have to play. So, you know, when I consigned my last violin to the guy who designs The Simpsons, Joe Webb, I told him while I was varnishing his violin, I said, you know, your violin is really responsive. I said, when I'm talking, the violin,
It's responding to you.
it's vibrating. You can
Yeah.
hear the sound. And he thought I was pulling his leg, you know, because, but I just told him that because I had noticed it while I was like doing the varnishing. I was talking, or there was a radio, and it was like, and so when he came, then he started talking. He goes, "Oh my God, it's true!" You know what I mean? Like, just can feel it, you know, alive. So it's just that little extra. How do you say it? That you're trying.
You're having a relationship with the violin. You are working with it and it is speaking back to you.
Yeah, but it's not. You never know. You can't say in advance like what's going to happen. You just have to
Right.
go through it slowly, and I take my time.
Right.
See, other violin makers, maybe who were in school with me, are probably making at least 10 violins a year.
And you're making?
I make 4, but they might be making more because, you know, now they've got all these pantographs, these 3D machines or whatever. And the city of Florence even had a thing, and they were offering me to be able to use a 3D machine free, you know? They said, oh, because you've been chosen, you can use this technology. And I'm like, you know, like, no way. You know what? Like, you're asking me that I pride myself because
You're having trouble speaking that language.
this is
basically
crazy.
what it
This is
is.
crazy
Yeah.
to offer, you know, a freebie, like,
Yeah.
to do that. And I just thought see, they just don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't comprehend anything of what I'm doing, you know. That's kind of...
Jamie, thanks so much for
Well,
letting us interview
Well, can I let you hear my violin?
I would
have
love
one.
to. Yeah, I would love to.
Let me see. Let me just... Okay, just a second. Because I hate to talk, you know, and then see somebody might not like my violins. You see, they might.
I can't
Because I
imagine
think that-
someone not liking
No,
your
but I always, okay. There are a lot of people who come by, and they say, you know, they look at the violin and then say, oh no, that's okay. They might ask me how much it is.
Yeah.
But I'd rather the people who try it, because you might try it and it might not be what you think. This violin, I make it the way I want it. You know, I think that there are not so many violins in the world that are like have that soloist quality, that are really strong.
Yes.
I need to get a bow. So I don't make a violin like ones that you could probably find around. You know what I mean? I make
Yeah.
something that you can't find. I need to tune it the proper. Just a second. Sorry about it. I need to turn it. Oh, look at this. I need to put it back right.
You warned me about it.
Oh no, it's pretty sharp. Okay. Just a second on, I want. What? What do you need to do?
No, go ahead. We
Okay.
just had to switch phones.
Well, okay, let's see. that's just to show. I mean, other people play it better than me,
But it's like I'm sitting here and I have the richness of this being so close to you and feeling that sound, hearing the sound and feeling the
to
sound.
hold it. If you talk, you can hear it vibe. You can see it vibe. Talk in it.
I'm here with Jamie Lazzara. I'm singing violin.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. And you know what I'm hearing? I'm still hearing strings because it's like, you know, that I hear sound when I fly a kite and hear the kite string vibrating, and I can still hear this vibrating.
Yeah, But anyway, that's what I do. So I mean,
Yeah.
but there should be a lot of different violin makers making violins the way that they believe, the sound that they're
Right.
shooting for, and this
Yeah.
is the sound, my sound. You see, so
Right.
so my work has been in at this for the last 30 years. You know what I mean? I've been working for this.
Right. And that's your magic, and I am so excited to be here and hear how you share this with the world. So thank you so much, Jamie.
It's been a pleasure,
been
Grace.
thank you. So more later, gang.
Bye. You see like that normal light?
Yeah.
But when it's got their lights on it, you see the yellow.
Yeah.
And so that violin, when I photograph it, you see the yellow. It's I'm on the right track for sure. I mean,
Wow. My thanks to Jamie Lazzara for that interview, allowing us into her workshop. Listen to the music in the wood. Listen to the wood responds. As I said in that video, listening, being really close, listening to the song, listening to the vibration was simply amazing. I've never had an experience like that before, and I hope that you enjoyed the interview, and I hope that you enjoyed the travelogue of Florence and Tuscany on this edition of Mornings with Grace. Over the next few weeks, I'm really excited because some more of my wide-ranging friends have agreed to be interviewed. There will be a minister, a rabbi, and a theater director that will be joining us over the next few weeks. So right now, if you haven't traveled, travel. And remember, it is never, ever too late.
You're staring out your window again. You're thinking about how careless you have been with the hearts and minds of others and the mother you let down. But what you need to know is that forgiveness abounds. It's never too late, never too late, never too late for love. It's never too late, never too late, no, never too late for love.